If you're watching my channel, something I want to develop in you as a viewer is this ability to kind of deliver your own awakening, deliver your own kind of insight into problems that you may be experiencing, right? So there's of course there's like an entire field of study dedicated to this in the world of coaching, but uh, Buddha figured all of this out 2,600 years ago and basically really systemized it. But generations and generation after Buddha's passing, we tend to make it more complicated because we keep adding more nuances to it. But today, I wanted to just dedicate this one video to explain to you what the three poisons are and what the countermeasures for these three poisons are. So, Buddha says, in general, right, when you bucket it into three kind of categories, suffering is in kind of three broad categories. And in Korean, it's called tam jin chi, and let's go over it one by one. So tam is like desire, right? It's like, but realistically, it's like greed. I have enough money to feed myself, but I want more. I want more. I want more money than the next guy because my sense of self is like valued from how much money I have. So I want more. And then if I have more than the next guy, then I need to have more than the next guy. And then I just need to be the richest person and I just need to keep climbing up and up and up. This kind of desire is like greed, right? And this is overall like also related to addictions. Like I really want to smoke. I really want to eat that food. I really want to watch pornography. I really want to touch that lady. I really want to kiss that boy or whatever, right? That like kind of physical desire as well. So that is the first realm of suffering. And the second category is jin, which is like when you're consumed. So this examples of this is like road rage. So road rage, when you watch videos, it's like, why are they overreacting so much? But if you're in that situation, right, you're just kind of like consumed, and your mental state, it's not capable of logical processing because your sense of survival and the primitive brain just takes over. And at this state, you're basically like acting on animal instincts, and logic, like, it doesn't really matter. And this isn't just for like rage and things like that. But suppose you had a family member accidentally or unsuspectingly pass away, and then you're gonna be in this like deeply consumed wave of grief, right? And at that point, it's like, whatever words you have to console them, it's not gonna matter because they're in that grief. So losing your kind of like sense of self and then just going headfirst into the mental emotional state, that's the second category of suffering. And the third category of suffering is chi, which is basically being unwise. For example, you got fired and then you're feeling like really bad because of it. Because why? In the end, when you really think about it, there's this implicit assumption that once you get in a job that it's gonna be like stable, it's gonna be forever. And layoff, it can happen to other people, but not me. So, but what makes you really exempt from these experiences? Nothing, right? So a lot of things in the world, they happen, and then you may be thinking, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? But it feels like you unexpectedly get attacked, or like you unexpectedly experience these negative things. But when you look at the grand kind of scheme of things, and you understand the wisdom of how the world works, why probabilistically some things happen, why some things aren't, like how society works, and basically there's a lot of wisdom that's involved in this world and understanding it, right? So for example, suppose I don't know like irrigation. I don't know anything about agriculture. And then so basically that wisdom around agriculture is missing, right? And then now I'm trying to farm something, and then I'm like, why do my tomatoes not grow when the neighbors does? Well, the thing is, I don't have the wisdom to make agriculture work for me. So in that sense, I'm working with very limited and typically like unwise and silly assumptions about the world. And that assumptions don't really apply to the real world, therefore I suffer, right? So these are kind of the three categories of suffering. And how did Buddha suggest to combat each one of these things? Okay, so the first one is like greed, right? So the first, for to counteract the first one, Buddha said restraint. And so this is why Buddhists, we recommend, number one, don't kill, and don't physically like harm other people. Number two, and don't use your words to offend other people and like lie or hurt their feelings. Number three, don't take what you weren't given. Number four, don't sexually harass people. And number five, don't get intoxicated to the degree where you lose yourself, right? So these are like the basic five restraints that Buddha offers. Because why? Like if you like, you can give into desires, right? But as long as you don't give into these fives and you kind of put a limit on yourself, you practice restraining, then it helps temper that desire, right? Because of course, will you have to know how to work with the desire and let yourself be free from desires as a Buddhist? Yeah, but it's much easier to work with the tempered down version of desire versus a desire that's been running rampant for years, right? So what I'm saying is, it's easier to quit smoking after you smoked for a year versus you've been smoking for like 20 years. You get my drift, right? So the second one is being consumed, right? And for that, Buddha offers meditation, basically stillness. The more you can practice being still, the more you can recognize when you're not in that stillness. When you're consumed, you will be able to identify, holy crap, I'm like really consumed right now. Let me take a step back. But in order to do that, you need to have a baseline for yourself. And how do you set that baseline for yourself? By regular meditation. Because meditation is just focused relaxation. Relaxed focus, right? So it's in the middle ground of relaxation and focus. And when you have that, you have a baseline kind of a feeling of what it's like to be you when you are connected to you, which makes it easier for you to identify when you're losing that sense of yourself. The third one is ignorance, basically, from the wisdom, right? And so for that, you study and you listen to the words of the wise and you listen to the words of the Dharma, basically Buddha, and the teachings of Buddha. And this is why it's important to, like for Buddhists, to go to the temple and learn from the monks who are practicing, right? So basically this comes down to wisdom. But wisdom isn't just about the book smarts, right? Although a lot of it is. But wisdom is a little bit more about like the human experiences of applications of knowledge. And the more you spend time with people with an open mind to learn about their wisdom, then you'll be able to kind of counteract the three categories of suffering. So, going forward, when I offer you kind of a case study, I'm going to present the question to you. So, in your opinion, what do you think the suffering category for this is? And that way, as I explain these cases, you can develop your own sense of, oh yeah, that case is, I think this is, which will in turn make it easier for you to identify when it happens to you.